Hi guys, and welcome to another video. In today's video lesson, we're going to be looking at grade 12 math sequences, linear, quadratic, and sum to n terms of a linear sequence part 2. Now, if you haven't watched part 1 of this video, I suggest that you watch part 1 before watching this video. We are continuing with the November 2018 paper 1, and we've already solved the following questions, which is 2.1.1. We got the next term of the sequence, the nth term of the sequence, and we also calculated the 20th term of this following quadratic sequence 2, 3, 10, and 23. And as you can see, the answers are as follows. So let's continue. Now, in the next question, it says, given the arithmetic sequence 35, 28, and 21, calculate the term of the sequence which will have a value of minus 140. Now we have to know the properties of an arithmetic sequence. In an arithmetic sequence, remember that we have a constant first difference. So as always, let's go and write our sequence out in a format or way that makes it easy for us to solve any question. So for 2.2, we're going to write it out as follows. 2.2, we're going to write down the following. So first we'll start by writing Tn. The terms in our sequence is 35, 28, and 21. N, the position, so we are given term 1, term 2, term 3. So let's go and look at that very quickly. 35, 28, which term of the sequence will have a value of minus 140. Now, I'm going to show you two ways in which we can find the general term of an arithmetic sequence. So I may not go directly to the solution, but rather explain a few things first. So firstly, let's go and find out the first difference. The first difference is as follows. It will be T2 minus T1. So 28 minus 35 is minus 7. And 21 minus 28 is minus 7. So as you can see, we have a constant first difference. Now, the ways in which we can find the general term of an arithmetic sequence is as follows. Formula is Tn equals to A plus n minus 1 times D, or Tn equals to Bn plus C. In the first method, Tn equals to A plus n minus 1 times D. Finding the general term of an arithmetic sequence, A is the first term, n is the position of our terms, and D is the first difference. So let's go with that method first. So Tn equals to, the first term is 35 plus general term, so we don't know the value for n. D, the difference is negative 7 minus 7. And let's just open out the brackets and simplify. 35 minus 7 times n is minus 7n. And minus 7 times minus 1 is positive 7. So therefore, we are left with 35 plus 7 is 42. So we got minus 7n plus 42. So our general term is as follows. Tn equals to minus 7n plus 42. If we're using this method which we used in the junior grades, where we don't use the formula, it will be as follows. Tn equals to, in this case, B is the difference. So that's minus 7n. And C, we get it as follows. We say if we have to substitute n equals to 1 for the first term, so for T1, if I have to put 1 in here, it will be minus 7 times 1 is minus 7. So we say, what will give me my first term, 35? Well, that will be minus 7 plus 42 will give me positive 35. So therefore, I would now be able to get my general term. So it will be plus 42. So we do that by inspection. If I have to substitute 1 here, I'll get minus 7, and plus 42 will give me 35. Another way to do it is as follows. if I have to substitute 1 in here, it'll be minus 7 times 1 plus 42. Well, I just mentioned that. Well, the other way is you can take your first term, which is 35, and you can subtract your difference, and you can get it. Like, for example, 35 minus 7 is 35 plus 7, which is 42. And that's what we normally show the guys in grades 9 and grades 10. But for grade 12, we normally use our formula a plus n minus 1 times d. So now to answer our question, we can now look at the following. So minus 140, calculate which term of the sequence will have a value of minus 140. So basically we want to solve for n here. So let's have a look at that. So now we'll say, we now have the general term, so therefore we can say minus 140 equals to minus 7n plus 42. Now this question could have been done in a few steps. We didn't need to do all that working. But once again, I wanted to show you exactly how to get the general term of an arithmetic sequence in different ways. So let's have a look at this. Now we got minus 7n equals to minus 140. And if I take this positive 42 to the left-hand side, it will be minus 182. Let's divide both sides by minus 7. So therefore, n equals to minus 182 divided by minus 7 equals to 26. So therefore, it will be the 26th term. Therefore, we can conclude that minus 140 will be the 26th term. Okay, now let's go look at the next question. In the next question, we have the following. For which value of n will the sum of the first n terms of the arithmetic sequence in question 2.2 be equal to the nth term of the quadratic sequence in question 2.1? So in question 2.1, we have the nth term of the quadratic sequence, which is Tn equals to 3n squared minus 8n plus 7. So let's write that down. So therefore, for this question, which is 2.3, let's write down the nth term of the quadratic sequence. And the nth term of the quadratic sequence is 3n squared minus 3n squared, and we wrote it here, minus 8n plus 7, minus 8n plus 7. And now what we're going to find here is we want to find the sum of the first n terms of the arithmetic sequence in question 2.2. So we've already written the sequence out, and there we go, it's here, 35, 28, 21. So we got the difference. Therefore, let's have a look at that. How do we find the sum to n terms of an arithmetic sequence? Well, there's two ways. Formula is as follows: n over 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 times d. Or if you are given the last term of the sequence, Sn equals to n over 2 into a plus l, or Tn. L is your nth term, where Tn is equal to L. Okay, now, so that's your last term, your nth term. But we're going to use this formula here, Sn equals to n over 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 times d. The reason for that is we have all the information. We have the first term a, we have the difference d, so therefore we can do that. So therefore, let's say Sn equals to n over 2, 2a. So our first term is 35, so it will be 2 times 35 plus n minus 1 times, and our difference is minus 7. So let's put that in, minus 7 equals 2. Now let's simplify. N over 2 2 times 35 is 70. And here, if we take minus 7 into the brackets, we'll get minus 7n. Minus 7 times minus 1 is positive 7, which is equal to n over 2. Got 70 plus 7 is 77 minus 7n. So therefore, now we have Sn equals to n over 2 into 77 minus 7n. Let's go read the question one more time. It says, for which value of n will the sum of the first n terms of the arithmetic sequence in question 2.2 be equal to the nth term of the quadratic sequence in question 2.1? Be equal to. Therefore, we have to now say Tn equals to Sn and solve for n. So therefore, Tn equals to Sn, and we're going to solve for n. So Tn is 3n squared. That will be 3n squared minus 8n plus 7 minus 8n plus 7 equals to n over 2, 77 minus 7n. Now let's solve. So therefore, if we have to now solve this particular question, so the first thing I'll do is want to get rid of this 2. I'm going to multiply everything by 2. So I multiply everything by 2, I'll get 6n squared minus 16n plus 14. And I'll be left with n there now at 77 minus 7n. Let's take n into the brackets. So we'll be left with 6n squared minus 16n plus 14. And I'll be left with 77n. I'm taking that into the brackets there. And minus 7n squared. So as you can see, learners, this is now going to become a quadratic equation. And now in a quadratic equation, you can make one side equals to 0. If I take minus 7n to the left-hand side, that will be 13n squared. If I take 77n to the left-hand side, it will be minus 16 and minus 77. That will be minus 16 and minus 77 equals to minus 93n. So it's minus 93n and plus 14 equals to 0. So here I have a quadratic equation, and I'm not going to do this quadratic equation by inspection. So therefore, in order for us to factorize this quadratic, we can use our quadratic formula. So therefore, you can use the following formula. So you can use x equals to minus b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, and you can get your roots of this particular quadratic equation. Or if you have this calculator, you can just do this. You press mode and equation 3. So let's put in our values a, b, and c. So that will be 13 minus 93 and positive 14, and that's equal to. So we're left with 7. So therefore, we can now say n equals to 7, or n equals to 2 over 13. So n equals to 2 over 13. Now let's go back and write out factors. So that'll be n minus 7 and 13n minus 2 equals to 0. So that's one way in which we can do this particular question. But it's important for us to now reject the answer that is not a natural number. Because remember now that n has to be a natural number. So therefore, 2 over 13 is not a natural number. So we must write down not applicable. N equals to 7. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe to JL Maths, like my Facebook page, Justin Lazarus Mathematics, and also check out all the videos on my website, jlmaths.com, in order of the work schedule. And I'll catch you in the next video.